He is the head coach of Oklahoma Sooners football, getting set to open up the season in the Palace on the Prairie against Houston on the 1st of September. He's Lincoln Riley. How are you, Coach?
I'm good, Rich. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. How does a coach get a college team ready? I mean, without a training camp, without the, one would say, traditional method, one would say, to prepare for a season. How do you get your guys ready, Lincoln?
Yeah, it's unique. We're the one level of football that you don't play an opponent until a real game. We don't have scrimmages, we don't have preseason games, so that's probably the biggest challenge. So you've got to try to create as many in-game situations as you possibly can. I think that's a big deal, just because it's so new. And then you've got to create some different inter-squad scrimmages, have a chance to get some live tackling and blocking, so that you're ready for that first one. But it's definitely a big change. You cannot simulate playing against another team and all the different challenges that brings. So I think certainly the first games for all college teams, you really never know what's going to happen.
Well, a lot of fans already know who your quarterback is based on his work and his experiences at Alabama. Jalen Hurts is your guy. You named him this week. What about Hurts have you learned that you didn't know before he came on your campus, Coach?
A lot of it is kind of he's a very mature kid. He's been through obviously a lot in his career, seen a lot, but it's been fun to see him adapt to our players, our system, offensively, the way we coach quarterbacks, just kind of the way we do things here at Oklahoma as a whole. He's been very, very open-minded, brought a lot to our team from a leadership and experience standpoint, and then he's certainly really, really grown here in the last, 6 or so months offensively. Has really come a long way with our stuff, and he's just excited about the way he's operating it. We've got a couple other really good players that were competing with him, but he was just simply just a little bit better than those guys throughout the time, and so we're excited for his opportunity, and I know he can't wait to get on the field and play.
Well, it's interesting you use the word adapt, because a lot of fans of yours and your program are wondering how he fits into your system, or if you were going to maybe tweak your system a bit based on his experiences. So you're saying basically you're taking him and placing him in the Oklahoma offense and just letting him settle and fly.
Sure. And we've always tried to tailor it to what our guys do well. We weren't the exact same offense, when you compare us to Baker and then on to Kyler. And so we're certainly going to tailor it to strengths. But, our viewpoint on it is a guy's got to be able to do the base things that you want to do offensively. If not, then he's probably not your guy. And Jalen, we feel like we can do anything that we've done with those guys over the last few years, and then we'll certainly try to tailor it to any other strengths that we see. And so that's one of the most fun parts about this whole deal.
Have you connected him with Baker and or Kyler or both, Coach?
Yeah, they've connected some, kind of as he was trying to make a decision, I think, on whether to come here. I know he reached out to some of those guys, and then, they've been up here through Norman to come see us working out and all that. So those guys have had a chance to connect a little bit. So, I think more than anything, it was, just for Jalen, it's got to be such a heightened trust, and when you only got 1 year, and that's what's different than Kyler Baker's situation. Those guys had multiple years here and had a chance to really grow within the system, where Jalen, the trust level and how we're coaching him and how he's doing things, which are quite a bit different than what was happening for him at Alabama. That trust level and buy-in from his end has to be there immediately. You don't have time to feel it out and see if you believe in this stuff. And so I think that was more the conversation with those guys, and he's certainly done a great job of buying in so far.
Oklahoma head coach Lincoln Riley, who sent his last 2 quarterbacks to the NFL as first overall picks, coming off of Heisman Trophy seasons, right here on the Rich Eisen Show. And obviously, we talk about Kyler being in the NFL and Hollywood Brown. Can't wait to see what he's going to do with Lamar Jackson. That to me is a subplot of the NFL season nobody's talking about right now. But quarterbacks are only as good as offensive line, and damn near your whole offensive line from last year is also going to be playing on Sundays this year, Coach. What's concern level do you have on that front? Here.
Yeah, just kind of what you said there. You lost 4, excellent players and guys that played a lot of snaps for us here, and they're all going to be playing on Sundays. So it's well, listen, we've got some good, young talented players that we think are ready for their turn and their moment here, and got a chance to watch those guys prepare behind the scenes last several years. So, but you can't replace the continuity of that group, and that's what's going to have to grow for us on the front. We've got talented enough players to do it. We've got to do a great job of helping those guys, play together as one, and that's what all the great offensive lines do. And our group certainly did that last year, and this group has that capability. So it's gonna, it's a challenge, but it's also fun because some of these guys that we have that maybe haven't had an opportunity that have a chance to be really good players in their own right. That chance is now in front of them, and you see them very hungry and eager to go prove that this group can be one of the best O-lines in the country.
If you could wave a wand and change a rule in the NCAA, what would it be, Coach Lincoln Riley? What would that be?
Ooh, man. It's just hard to narrow it down to one. Oh, man. I would probably change the rule. I think that a player, if he's going to transfer, should have to come talk to the head coach first and at least have a conversation, notify them. The fact that they can jump in this transfer portal without literally talking to anybody is still a little concerning to me. Just not from an ego point of it, just more of, that's not the way the rest of the world works. So I don't know why we would teach these guys that that's how we got to do it. It's such a important part of their lives as they're learning and going through some of these experiences for the first time. So that's one of them that I would definitely change a little bit.
Okay, you want to put a little bit more meat on the bones? I mean, is that something that clearly has happened to you? And because sometimes, kids just don't want to look the guy in the face. They're just 18, 19, 20 years old, right? I mean, it's difficult to say something.
It is. I have had it happen to me. I mean, I don't know that there's a coach in America that even in the short time of this transfer portal deal has had it happen or hasn't had it happen. So, yeah, it's a scary thing. I mean, it's just because you're right. These kids have not had to face it, but when they get that first job, that they're not going to be able to just walk out and not tell their boss. If they do, it's not going to be a great thing. And so, again, this is that time where, we're prepping these guys for the rest of their life. And I agree with the players having the freedom to be able to go where they want to go and not be restricted. I have no concerns about that at all. I think that was the right move, but there's a way to do it. And you got to treat these guys as young men and young women. They need to learn the right and wrong way to do things, and I don't really love what we're teaching there.
I got one last one for you. I know you have to run, but Kyler Murray, have you seen his first couple of preseason games? The last one was nationally televised, and he said that, and Kingsbury said that they're not really putting much out there to not read into anything that we're seeing on film right now. What can you tell me?
Yeah, I honestly got to see the first part of the first game. I didn't get to see much of the second game. I watched Hard Knocks last night. They showed a couple of clips on it from there. I know the second game wasn't as smooth, but there's no doubt, and I don't blame them. I mean, that's one of the biggest advantages they have right now is nobody really has a clue what they're going to do, and Kyler's such a unique talent that why would you risk putting all that on display for everybody in games that don't really matter? And so, I think they're going to catch some people by surprise. Some people are going to have a very, very difficult time preparing for them. And I know Kyler's, he's eager to get to the regular season where they don't have to hold anything back and they can go cut loose. I know he is. If you know him as a competitor, he's certainly chomping at the bit.
Coach, really appreciate the time right before the beginning of the season. Look for my phone call a couple times during the year. I always enjoy our chats.
Sounds great, Rich. Looking forward to it.
You got it. That's Lincoln Riley, Oklahoma head coach.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.